All right, what's up, guys? Sorry, a few minutes behind. Had some issues connecting OBS to Restream, but we should be live and working just fine now for the stream on X and YouTube. Let me go double check that we are in fact live and everything is working as it should. All right, looks like we're good on X. Go check YouTube side. All right, and we're good on YouTube. All right, we're good to go. Technical errors with OBS, but we're ready to roll. So, first and foremost, hope everyone had a great weekend. Hope everyone had a great Friday for the first trading session of 2026. And I welcome everybody to the very first Sunday night live stream here with Casey Trades of the 2026 trading year. So, appreciate everyone who taking some time out of their evening right now to come hang out with me here live. Just going to look at a few charts. Not going to be on here too long, but it is going to be recorded and will be saved onto my X profile along with my YouTube channel. So for the ones that are currently watching the live stream here on X, if you could please like and repost the stream, I would greatly appreciate it. It's free to do so. Trigger the algorithms, let people know that we're live, but also just get it out there because if they cannot attend discharging an education and weekly prep session live, they can watch this recording later on. So whatever they got going on right now. I know football games are on right now. Believe Ravens and Steelers are playing, so I know a lot of people are watching that game right now. So um, they can watch the recording of this session later on tonight, tomorrow morning before next market open. So the more people that like and repost this, I would greatly appreciate it. I'm sure others would as well. So we're going to jump right into it. So for SpyQ and IW, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I'm going to cover a few charts that I did send earlier today. I think I sent two or three. I'm not quite sure, but there is a lot of charts on watch. I think I sent, let's see, one, 7, 8, 14. I sent about 20 charts out to the premium Discord just for some things on watch this week. So we'll quickly going to cover that. Let me get rid of it. Like took QQQ calls down here. Go to your 10-minute chart. You're going to see a beautiful evening or a beautiful morning star right here at the lows. We have to catch a nice little move up after shorting the high right up here and catching the move down. Friday session, it was very fun indeed. So go to your weekly chart currently over here on the QQQ. So looking at the squeeze indicator, looking at MACD, looking at RSI. Same three as always. Market has been in a very nice steady incline, but recently putting in some lower highs right up here. And if you go to QQQ chart and hit the low down here and draw, you'll see higher lows. So is it a coincidence on where we bounced at for the previous session? No, it's not really a coincidence that that is where market bounced at. Break it down to 15-minute chart, you'll just see not really pinpointed there. You'll see I need to bring it down some like there to mark it there. And then boom, there you go. Not a coincidence that that is where market bounced. So that trend line just kind of pinpointed there on a 15-minute and then go into this session over here. And then I took calls down here off the low. So it's not a coincidence that that is where the market bounced. That was, in fact, a higher low there on QQQ. So there you go. So currently what I'm watching there on the Qs, you can hit the trend line, pinpoint this for the lower high portion of this kind of pennant that we're in, and then these higher lows right there. So currently watching this on QQQ. I believe if you run a fib from that November low to most likely that swing high. 50% retracement. Equilibrium is going to line up right around 605 right now on QQQ. So if we do see downside in the market down to that 605 area, previous month low is right down at 600. So could see some buyers step in if this area does get tested. If this trend line does in fact break on QQQ, and then play a move to the downside, target 605, 600, and then look for buyers to step in and then get the move back up to essentially 610, back to back testing this area here, which Q's is currently at. So, uh, what was that? Oh, MRVL, dude, I know. I'm so sad about MRVL, but it is what it is. Um, I was looking over here in the Discord. We're talking about INTC and MRVL. A lot of good moves right now happening overnight session. So I know everyone's talking about oil stocks, your XOM, your CVX. Some of those are up absolutely huge. So looking over here on the higher time frame again on the weekly, you do have the RSI moving a little bit lower. There's been bearish divergence up here at these highs for the last little bit of time, but MACD is also flipping bearish. Flipped bearish on Monday, November 17th on the weekly, and it's starting to move a little bit to the more to the downside now. Squeeze indicator still moving its way down to the neutral, hasn't flipped bearish overall. We're not in any kind of squeezes either on the larger time frame. I mean, we haven't even came back down and retested our weekly 21, which is currently just underneath 600. So if we do end up failing and getting a move to the downside, I'd be looking for a move honestly down to that 600 area. But it is what it is. I would like to see a move a little bit lower in the market, but honestly, I would like to see the market move lower within the next few weeks for SPY and Qs. We'll like to see small caps start. IWM has the ugliest chart on the larger time frame. If you look at SPY and QQ, go to IWM, you'll see it's not the best for the last few sessions. On look at the daily chart. So lower low, lower high, made a lower low and held around 245. So back testing 9 and 21 EMA. So again, SPY and Q still holding, higher time frame EMAs as is IWM. But I would like to see SPY and Qs for the next little bit of time pull back and potentially see a little bit of rotation into small caps and see them start to run up maybe in January going into February time, and then during that time with February and March, if you see SPY cues that have been pulling back, start looking for dips to buy going into like April time. Um, and like May, June, July, start to see a move up into the market around that time. I mean, that's just speculation, but that would be in a perfect world for what I'm looking for on the market. But starting off 2026, I I'm not trying to be a bear at all. But I would like to see a little bit of a move down back into in the market, a little correction, mainly with SPY and QQQ. But again, looking at the higher time frame, IWM is in a weekly squeeze. It's been in a weekly squeeze going on 2 weeks now, so we're going to be open up for the third week starting tomorrow. I'm moving to the downside. It has not flipped bearish. You'll see the little red dot right here, red dot right here. So showing that we are in a high compression squeeze, and it is moving to the downside, but we have not flipped bearish and gone red like over here. But MACD was red, tried to go back up, put in a lower high rejection, and it is went try to go back green and now back to red. If you look at your RSI, you do again have a little move here to the downside. So I do have bearish divergence on your weekly here on IWM, even when it did bounce right here and make a move higher. Your RSI did bounce, but when it made new all-time highs in December on what is that, December, the week of December 8th, and then started to move back down, your RSI actually did not go higher than previous, and now you're seeing a little bit of bearish divergence there. So Again, just looking at larger time frame, I think you could see a little pullback in the market. We'd love to see or at least a retest around 241, 240 on IWM if it does end up moving to the downside. For SPY here, SPY is still just, I mean, looking the best, I believe, out of the three. I mean, daily, we haven't really gone anywhere in a while. I mean, look at Monday, December 1st. I mean, SPY this week here, the high was 688, the low was 678. So you take your midpoint of that area, right? You're looking, what, around 683 and some change. That was on December 1st. Look at the current price of SPY from previous session. It's 683.17. So, and that we're going on a month and SPY is still in the exact same spot. It is not really doing much. But with that being said, you also have MACD that has flipped bearish since November 10th. And then again, RSI here is moving to the downside. So bearish divergence over here prior as well. Kind of going to get that bearish divergence here. I'd imagine going into next week, the indicator that I have right here is going to probably auto plot that red line there once session starts this week. So SPY still holding weekly nine. Weekly nine is currently still sitting at just underneath 680, around 679.31. Go to your daily. Went down, hit the low from Monday, December 22nd, getting a nice bounce off that 680 psych level, reclaiming the daily 21, but closing underneath your daily 9. Nothing too significant. You even look at this, if you draw this trend line here. So SPY wicked underneath the trend line, hit that previous area of support, bounced back up, closed above the daily 21, closed just above the trend line, but put in overall still, it's still lower highs. And just right there underneath your daily 9, which is at 684.71. So I mean, we're getting to the point to where I think we're going to see a big move on SPY and QQ. By a big move, nothing like catastrophic, as in like SPY not going straight down to 660, 650s anytime soon, but just a decent move that's going to get us out of essentially the last whole month that SPY has been coming back to this area, essentially just breaking out of that, like getting a move down in SPY underneath or at least to 670. And if it's going to take out previous week highs, then at least get the continuation to move upside and go to 700 like all these bulls have been screaming about. They wanted 700 by the end of the year. They didn't get it. So I mean, maybe January can, have be their saving grace to start off 2026 strong, and it rips up and breaks that previous week high up here, and then gets into the 700. It'd be fantastic for the Bulls, but overall, I think it's setting up a little bit more bearish than it is bullish. We are still 100% in a bull market. Again, I'm not trying to be a bear. We are 100% still in a bull market. Just things are looking a little bit better for seeing a little bit of correction and move to the downside first before I think we do make new all-time highs. Could 100% be wrong, but that is just my opinion. But looking at SPY right here, again, would love to see a move, whether it is to break out of this and at least go get the move back up to those previous week highs and see new highs after that. But a potential move back down here, midpoint of this order block is going to put around 675 almost exactly. So if we do see downside in the market within the next week or so, getting moved down here to that 675 area on SPY would be my target downside. So not too much again on SPY, Qs, and IWM. We've been back and forth and little chop box overall. Qs is still sitting around 614 area. I mean, nothing really significant overall. Neither on IWM right now. Just looking at larger time frames again, I do think we could see a little bit of a pullback before we end up moving higher. So those are the main three. What's up? What's up? Jared, appreciate you. Thank you, Liv, for posting that onto the YouTube side. Yes, make sure you do like and subscribe over to the YouTube side. Thanks for doing here, champ. Appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. Oil will rip higher tomorrow morning. I mean, freaking send it. I mean, XOM is on a freaking tear right now. It's trying to finally break this freaking high. I mean, this thing has been in a squeeze for 1,000 years. This thing hasn't moved for 3 years almost. This is January of 2023. The stock was at 118, and just recently we just went back up to 118. Now we're at 123, coming up to these highs. I mean, this was a high in April 2024 and then October 2024. I mean, it has been in a squeeze. Look at this. I mean, that's absolutely insane. Look, and the month closed out with the squeeze going back bullish. So the squeeze started to move downside, went back upside, came back down to neutral, went downside, started to curl back up, and now it's bullish again. It has been in a squeeze for the longest freaking time. That's on the monthly chart, all of those squeezes, and it still has yet to fire. If I'm not mistaken, let me pull up my broker real quick. Um, how much is XOM up right now overnight? XOM's at 130. I mean, that's absolutely fantastic. So XOM, yeah. So currently XOM is trading at there, which I think is fantastic. But even better than that, CVX. Oh, look, I already got the rocket. Look, I already got the rocket ship on the chart. What else do you need? What else do you need? I already had the rocket. I already had it on the chart. All right, so I recently drew this on CVX, and I did not draw this like recently. Um, as in this is the monthly and weekly chart. I drew this back in November. That is when that arrow is on there. So this is not part of my weekly prep for this week. This was already on here from November 3rd. So now I'll go look at CVX. So I drew it on CVX saying that once it breaks that trend line, it gets to move up to go to 167. It is currently sitting at 172. So you see this box that I have right here, this gray box? The high of that box is 171.81. So as of right now, it's sitting at 172.50. So I'm off by about 70 cents. So it is currently there. Not bad. Not fucking bad. So it's currently there. So CVX playing out to the upside. If uh, I mean, if it wants to continue to run, it can continue to run. It's going to be an interesting week with a lot of headlines. I'm not going to get into it, but obviously everybody knows. If you've been on any kind of social media over the weekend, what has happened within the world with the United States of America and Venezuela. So I'm sure Trump is going to be making more comments and statements just about everything that's going on. Obviously, there's a lot of talk that deals with oil that's going to be coming out this week. So make sure you are uh, taking that into consideration whenever you're trading, that you could have these headlines, you could have Trump coming out speaking. Who knows what the hell he's going to say. But most likely there's going to be a lot of things that's going to be revolving around the topic of oil. So keep these names on watch. Again, top two that mostly a lot of people are looking at. Which ones that I personally like to look at is XOM and CVX. So keep those ones on watch. So going into this week, I don't trade this name too often, but Soundhound. So if you go to Soundhound, Go to your weekly chart here on SoundHound. If you zoom out and look left around this $10 area, it's going to be a big spike from 2024. It's right over here. And then had a little trend line right here that where we bounced at again here. That started the rocket launch to get the move all the way back up here. Came back down, knife through, break, retest, rejection, gets the move lower. So it got the move lower, and you're seeing a little bit of life right down here. The exact same spot again on SoundHound near that $10 area. So SoundHound holding $10. I like to see a move back to 12 to 13, honestly, is going to be my first main targets upside. So I'm looking at 11 and $12 calls to begin with, probably for about February 20th, 20 expiration. So February 20th, 2026, 11 and $12 calls is what I'm looking for. I would like to see uh, a move closer to $12 sooner rather than later, and eventually be able to roll some profits into maybe some farther out expiration, maybe April's. I don't think SoundHound has March options. I believe it goes from February to April on their options chain. And then see what the ones for like $13 are at that time. But before jumping the gun, just going to be looking at February options for this one for a potential swing trade. So again, mainly going to be looking for 11 to $12. Really like looking at that $12 area. Full target again, 12 to 13. But I think back testing your weekly 9 is currently at $12.09. So risking, stock is currently sitting at 1060. So if you draw your, let's go long position here. Draw it here, you're risking if it closes underneath your $10 area. Let's just say you're mainly going to be targeting that area right there, right? $12. As of right now, that risk to reward ratio is 2.96, so it's almost 3. So risk losing, $100 to make 300. Risk losing $1,000 to make 3,000. Not a bad risk to reward trade. Just back testing, honestly, your weekly 9. If it continues to run up to 13, which is what I would like to see, your risk reward on that is 4.5, which is absolutely fantastic. So trimming out along the way, maybe overall going to capture on that one, maybe a 2.5 to 3 risk reward trade. I think it's absolutely fantastic. So holding $10 on SoundHound. Again, I really like this one for call swings. This one, I sent this one out earlier. I don't trade this name too often, but I don't know. So there was an evening star that was right here on lows that got invalidated and did not play to the downside. It is now getting a nice weekly green hammer candle reclaiming the EMAs. So not only that, going over here to the daily, I'm not going to say you can articulate an inverse head and shoulders, but I think you can kind of articulate an inverse head and shoulders. Let me go here. Just the dip down here. Obviously, your lower dip down to here. Coming back up to this area around 247, rejecting, creating a nice base down there off the 240 psych level and trying to get the move back up. So it is in a daily squeeze that has been moving to the downside and it has not fired. So initially, I was very bearish on lows because looking at the RSI had bearish divergence. MACD has been negative. Squeeze was moving to the downside, and it had the evening star here on the weekly. 9 times out of 10 would like to see a red candle to the downside. It did not get a red candle to the downside. So now, squeeze indicator on the weekly just flipped yellow, so starting to try to get a move, potentially to go back to the upside, like this. So it can potentially come back up here. Last time that happened after creating the base, it developed a weekly squeeze right here. MACD flipped bullish and then eventually got about a month of an absolute ripper. So I think you can articulate a little inverse head and shoulders, a failed bearish move, now looking pretty bullish here on the weekly, in which it closed above its 921 with a strong green hammer candle. Love that. Looking at your MACD, look how close that MACD is now looking to flip. Very close to flipping back bullish, just like it did right here after getting this move to the downside. So it was looking bearish, but it did not get the move downside. So now it's starting to curl back up and flip bullish. So options on lows can be a little bit iffy, but I think looking at the chart overall, as long as it continues to hold around that 240 area, getting a move back up to 260, the top of that channel takes you to about 270, 275. Main target, I mean, going to be looking around this area here, which is going to be around your 260. The next spot up there, again, I think that's 273. Dun, dun, dun. So going along currently here, risking underneath there. First main target right there, 2.5 risk to reward. Not bad. Top of the channel right up there if it does get the full move and extension again to go from here up to there. Overall risk to reward is 4.82, so almost a 5. So again, not a bad risk to reward. Another kind of off the wall stock that maybe not a lot of people are looking at, but Caterpillar, Home Depot, Lowe's, some of these can be very tricky and hard to trade, especially day trade. They're mainly, in my opinion, those are all swing trade stocks. I don't think you should be day trading Caterpillar, Lowe's, or Home Depot. And sometimes the options can be a little weird, especially on lows. Sometimes there's not the greatest volume on them. You just have to find the right strike expiration, then see if volume actually does come in on some of it as well. But keep this one on watch. I think it could be one that not too many people are going to be looking at and potentially seeing maybe a pullback inspired cues or the market not really doing anything too much this week going back and forth. You're going to randomly see a headline or get an alert from Webull or whatever it is that Lowe's is up a couple percent. You go look at it, it's been trending up all day, and it starts trending up the next day, and it's like 2 or 3 days in a row. Lowe's is getting that move back up to 255 and then 260, and you've been watching SPY and Q's, chop around, not do anything, and missing the move on this, off the wall name. I like looking and finding these kinds of things because when I see setups like this on these names and SPY and Q's aren't really giving me the action which I'm looking for, this is where I usually go over and I make my money, or on these ones that not a lot of people are looking at. So keep LOW on watch going into this week. Another one for potential downside, I love trading this name. You guys know I love trading Pepsi and KO, is Pepsi. So Pepsi just broke this pennant. It was putting in these higher lows, putting in these lower highs while building a weekly squeeze. Weekly squeeze has been moving to the downside. It has yet to fire, but it has now gone on week 2 of downside. MACD has now just flipped bearish, which I like seeing that as well. RSI has been moving lower. It's back underneath 50. That is fantastic. Would love to see a move from 50 back down to this 30 area. Just broke the trend line. That is an ugly weekly candle. If it gets a move down here to the 141 area, you got 140 psych level right below it. But just underneath this area right here, honestly, if you do start to see some weakness in Pepsi and that weekly squeeze right here starts to fire downside, just start to get the move and trickle down lower to your mid 130s, all the way back down potentially to 130. So your daily nine, or sorry, your weekly 9 and 21 are just above you in the mid 145s. So in a perfect world, back down to the mid 130s would be absolutely fantastic. So risking back up here to those EMAs, mid 130s area, honestly, would be looking to get a move at least back down to this area here. That right there puts you at about a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio. The good thing about Pepsi and KO is when I get paid on these, it's from my runners. So getting the move down to here, I'll probably collect around 60 to 70%. And then when the runners play out and it gets that move down to here, and say I take 135 calls, for example, for February, and those are ones that I'm watching right now. I take 135 calls on Pepsi for February expiration, right? And it gets the move down here, starts to break underneath of it, and now I'm up, 60, 70%. Then the 135s go in the money, and now we're, coming into the potential end of January. Now I have, 2, 3 weeks left on this, on these contracts, on these runners, and you don't get that support bounce that's right here, and then you just get the continuation or maybe a stall, but then you get that continuation downside, and then it goes down to, 132, 130 psych level on here. Those runners, when they go in the money for Pepsi specifically, especially like with KO, um, similar to Carnival Cruise Line. I love trading CCL. Recently hit that trade for like 300, 400%. When those contracts start to get so many dollars in the money and those names start to have those massive moves day after day after day, and your delta starts increasing on it, they will go plus two, three, four, 500% very, very fast over the next couple of days if that does get that continuation in that direction. So Pepsi, just finally breaking out of this giant penny here on the weekly. So holding under that 145 area, holding under your weekly EMAs, I think can be very bearish on it. Once it loses the support area around this 141 area, getting that move back down, honestly, to the mid 130s is going to be first main target downside. And then if it wants to double that move again and get continuation, if I have time on my contracts, again, looking at the February 20th ones, just letting the runners continue to play out and get the move down lower. So keep Pepsi on watch. Um, Talked about Soundhound. Another one that kind of looks like Soundhound, reminds me of just the way that it looks on the daily and weekly. It's OKLO. So OKLO just closed a weekly green hammer right here off this area of support. If you go to your daily, not going to say you can articulate a morning star. Is a kind of a crazy wonky setup. I usually like to see a larger candle on the left side that matches a larger candle on the right side. But big red candle downside, big move, small green doji, big green reaction afterwards. I really like seeing this at the bottom of a downtrend for a reversal back to the upside. So if you look at where it bounced, this is back testing this area of resistance from June 2025. A lot of choppy price action that happens right here. Then once it kind of get the base back over top of this, it got the move up. Very explosive move. Came back down, briefly touched it here, back up to the 9. Came back down, now reclaiming with this potential reversal, getting closed directly above the daily 9 for the first time since the beginning of December after that strong candle by like 10 cents. So nothing too crazy, but more. Let me see if I can pull it up over here. More importantly, there was some flow that I saw that came in with some January calls. So last session, there was multiple orders coming in on the dips down here for $75 calls for in the money for January 23rd, 2026. They were around $600. There was multiple orders on unusual flow on that, just nothing crazy, but just about over 600,000 came in on that previous session. So just looking at that and looking at honestly the overextension that it's just had to the downside, back testing this area right here. Again, risk to reward, back testing this area here. I mean, how can I not look to see if buyers are going to step back in and hold this area right here? Because even if it does just back test your weekly moving averages, which are at $92, I mean, if the stock is at 77, you risk going back down to 71, 70 bucks. You're going to risk $7 downside for about what, 14, $15 upside. We'll just say $7 downside, $14 upside. So that's already a 1 to 2 risk reward ratio, just right there, risking the previous low on this weekly and just targeting back up here to the weekly EMAs for just a retest off this support, if that's all that it gives before it goes lower. If it starts to break and base back above that, then you're in the fucking gold. and then you let the trade continue to play out in your favor. So even just for a weekly support bounce area, it still looks decent on a risk to reward trade for longs down here. So I don't trade this name too often either, but keep this one on watch. DraftKings, I'm looking for a potential breakout on DraftKings. It's right at resistance. It can easily get slapped very hard. But I am long DraftKings from like 26 to 28 bucks, but still looking for a move higher. This is one of my favorite setups going into this week, and it's ticker IREN. So IREN lower highs since November 20th, 2025. One touch, two, three. And then on the fourth one, they were like, nope. So fourth time was not the charm. Third time was the charm. It rejected that trend line for the third time. That was, in fact, third time's the charm because that was your sell down here. Then it got the bounce, came back up, retested the EMAs, came back down higher low, and now bouncing back up to all those previous highs with a very, very strong candle here on the daily, just going back up to retest where it had just rejected. So I think REN is looking very, very good here for a potential move back to the upside. Honestly, would like to see it move back up closer to 50 bucks, but I got a level here just marked around 48. Seems to be a pretty important area, a little SR flip spot, just shy of that $50 cycle level. But holding stock is currently at 42.7. I think any dips down closer to 40 bucks can get eaten up pretty quick. So going to be looking to see if there are any dips down closer to 40 bucks in IRN. If it doesn't, it continues to hold above around 41.50, $42 area still and just kind of consolidates and doesn't get slapped. Going to be looking to start some long entries there and then get the move back up, take out those previous highs around 43.6 and then just off to the races after that. So I really do like IREN here. I put, I think I sent this one out earlier, if I'm not mistaken. I think I sent IREN on X earlier. No, that's the next one I want to cover, which is BE. I did not talk about IREN. So you guys got a little treat here. I have another one that's very similar to IREN in way the chart is structured, but not in the same sector at all. So keep IREN on watch. This is probably one of my top favorite setups for a potential swing. This name can get big reactions very quick and be very fun to day trade if it does get a really nice move. Previous day, I mean, the stock went up 13% in a single day. I'm not going to pull up the option chain to see how much they increased in a single day, but I'm sure it was fantastic gains. So you can catch a really good day trade on this one when the momentum is there, but I think swing trading this one can be very good as well. So looking to again go long around here, maybe whoopsies, maybe risking back underneath 41 down to 40 bucks, but at least getting that move back up there to the high of 48. That puts you at what was that, 2.25? So not bad with where it's currently sitting out. Again, I would like to see a move back down lower. See, just going from right here, just buying the dip back down to 41.50, that risk reward ratio is now over 5. Now it's a 5.34. That's what I want to see. I would love to see just a little rejection there on intraday, 1 or 2 day move, and then buy that dip, get the move back up, take out that high, and then once it takes out the high, again off to the fucking races and get the move up. That changes that risk reward tremendously. So right there, currently where it's sitting at, that's a 1 to 5 risk reward ratio. So buying dips down to 41.50, risking $40 cycle if that gets taken out, and then getting that move back up here. So keep this one on watch. Last and certainly not least, Bloom Energy. You'll see what I meant by very similar chart structure as IRBN here. So lower high, equal low held here. Great long, great long spot off support, just very similar to one thing I was talking about earlier. Even if it does back test, weekly or daily EMAs, looking for the support bounce there, risk to reward is fantastic. This is one of them. So it bounced off the equal low from November, getting the move back up. Retesting your daily EMAs, consolidates, moves a little bit lower. After that, higher low, massive breakout. This is another one. Look how much it moved in a day, 13.5% to the upside. So if it can get a move back above 100 cycle level, it's currently at 98.69. 100 cycle level is literally like right there. So if it gets the move over a break in base over $100, Bloom Energy, I think, can get a really nice move back up to 110, 120. So going to be looking to see if there's any dip back down. Honestly, I put an alert right here underneath $95. So if it starts to get a move back down to 95, I would like to start adding into the position, risking back underneath that previous low that's right there, which is going to put it at 88.86. Honestly, I'll probably keep mine tighter and probably do about $90, honestly. And then getting the move just to this area right here, at 109.78, we're just going to say right there at 110. That puts you at a 1 to 4 risk reward ratio, which I think is fantastic. I would like to see the move back up here. It's going to be closer to about the 120 area. That'd be fantastic. That's going to put you at a 6.5. So baby steps, going to be looking at 110, buy the dip, hold $90, get the break and base above 100, get the move to 110. Runners by that point 120 would be absolutely perfect, in a perfect world for this trade setup. So again, held a nice support base, lower highs, getting the breakout. I think it's most likely going to get the negative reaction and rejection off that 100 cycle level. How big or how small is that reaction going to be? Who freaking knows? But currently your daily 21 is sitting at 94.54, just underneath that $95 cycle level. So if it rejects 100 and it back test the daily 21 in which it just broke over, I would be stepping into that to be looking for a potential buy the dip opportunity on this one, and then hold that previous day low, or be adding into that position on the move down. Once it closes underneath of that and validates it, get out, but looking for that move back up, and then hopefully not double topping at 100. Again, just all speculation, but eventually breaking that 100 cycle level and getting the move up. So keep BE on watch. I sent this one out earlier as well, for BE. There was some flow on 105 and $100 calls. So the $100 calls came in at the ask and above the ask for January 23rd, 2026. The big ones were 105s for 515 and 618, 2026. The largest order being 4.54 million. So looked at some unusual sweeps that are all over 100K orders, and all of those end up being bullish flow, which just added up just over to 5 million, in which was just last session. This was during Friday session, on this move right here. So there's calls coming in for 100 and 105s. The 100s are for January 23rd, 2026. The 105s are for a few months out. So I really like seeing that call flow come in, a little bit of time, higher strike, for Bloom Energy here. So keep this name on watch. Someone said, is it possible to get a little snippet of what you're thinking on each chart that you post? Doing that now, baby. What are all option plays tomorrow? Is it too early to think about that now? I mean, I have some. I have some in stock. So U.S. oil stocks to keep on watch. Top one, obviously, CVX. After that, VLO, and then XOM. Keep an eye on Oxy and then also watch DVN as well. Um, I'm responding in the Discord to a few people. Most of my charts, you can tell if it's bullish or bearish. If you see me like right here, for example, for BE, if you see me draw a green area of support and then this lower high trend line and then the candle breaking out of this right here, um, hopefully you would assume that that is a more bullish chart than bearish chart. Same thing for like the Pepsi, right? Looking at the Pepsi, you see that trend line break to the downside, and then I have like an arrow drawn down. You kind of assume that that is going to be more of a bearish chart, but trying my best for you. All right, guys. I appreciate all the ones who tuned into the session this evening. I don't even know how many people tuned into this session. Where are we sitting at? Oh, we got 1,200 people that tuned into it. I'll love and appreciate all you guys. Make sure you do go over to the YouTube side, hit a like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Again, I've been trying to use that more recently and going to put out a lot more educational content. We talked about this on the Friday stream. It kind of revolved around credit spreads, cash secured puts, and covered calls. So I'm going to be putting more, obviously, more educational things out there for my normal options, my options trading, day trading, swing trading, um, just educational things, maybe chart patterns, candlesticks, moving averages, support and resistance, supply, demand, all the basic and normal stuff that most people uh, use or maybe just need more clarification on. But going to be doing the SPX challenge in 2026. So I believe the last 20 SPX credit spread trades I have hit all in a row for green trades. So starting an SPX credit spread challenge starting tomorrow in one of my Webull accounts. So there is no goal on that account other than the fact that I will be starting it by putting $10,000 within that account. And by the end of 2026, I would like to honestly have six figures within that account. So we'll start with baby steps. For the ones that don't know, usually my credit spreads for SPX, I look to try to capture right now on the average around $500 per trade for that. So if you hit, 5 trades in a row, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, take one each day in a perfect world, I want to make $2,500 in the account. So I'm going to go from 10,000 to, 12,500 by the end of the week. You do the math, that's on there overall. That's a really, really good percentage return in just 1 week. Again, in a perfect world where you hit 5 for 5 trades. The good thing about the credit spreads, which are the ones that I take, usually they have closer to about a 88 to 90% win rate or probability, honestly, of what it is of it being a profitable trade. So going to be doing that all of 2026 while doing my normal stuff. Still going to be doing my normal day trading, swing trading options, but on the back burner, have that SPX credit spread account. So talked about that on the Friday live stream with Jordan and Emp and all the guys on the Wolf stream. And then I just covered some things about Rivian with covered calls and then cash secured puts. I alerted some TSLL covered calls the other day. I was bearish on Tesla. I do not own over 100 Tesla shares. I do own a lot of TSLL. So I sold 21 covered calls on TSL, and it got a beautiful move back down to the weekly 21, right at $18. And those were up 75% just after 2 days. So was talking about, whenever you do have shares or equity in companies in which you love to buy, like I recently just bought that dip on DraftKings down between 26 and $28. So the good thing is that if DraftKings right now, which is where it's setting up, we'll pull it up here. right there. So DraftKings support down here 26. This is where I started buying my equity on DraftKings. I like this move right here. So just another little freebie. Weekly MACD just flipped positive. RSI almost went down to 30, getting the move back up to 50. I want to see it go above 50. Nothing on the squeeze indicator, but it is moving upside. It is between your weekly 9 and your weekly 21, but it's consolidating and holding. Could be potentially forming a flag. You just do have this resistance just around this $36 area. Go to your daily. Got the move up, hit the resistance from right over here, pull back down, holding your daily 21, and now getting this move back up. So for an example, if DraftKings does get the move up here and it hits 36, 40, and it gets a harsh rejection that day and instantly just comes straight back down to where it was prior and breaks underneath 35. So this area right here of 38 for Friday expiration, right, for this week, if I own 500 shares of DraftKings, right, and it's rejecting right up here, stock starts moving back down, I start losing some money on my shares. I'm green on my shares overall because I bought them down here, but for the day, right, DraftKings starts getting a pullback. It goes from 36.40 back down to $35. I would then sell 5 38 covered calls. And let's just say they are $20 a piece. That means by Friday expiration, if DraftKings is not above 38 and it still rejects, it comes back down here, it goes sideways, doesn't freaking matter. As long as DraftKings doesn't go all the way back up to $38 right here, those covered calls that I just sold for $20 a piece, I have 5 of them, I will make an extra $100. Essentially, what it is, it's a hedge position. So you own all of these shares in which you can now sell. And now I'm doing an education session. Jesus Christ, but I love teaching about it. So essentially, you're getting a hedge position where I love DraftKings so much I bought all of these shares down here and my shares are green. And now on this pullback that DraftKings is getting, I can sell covered calls to offset the loss currently from my shares. The loss on the shares are unrealized because this is a long-term investment. So even though it's going down, I'm not selling my shares for a little bit of a loss, seeing it pull back for 2 days. Like, oh, it's just at 36.40. Now it's going underneath $35. Now I'm red on my shares for the day. I'm green overall, but on the day, I'm not going to sell my shares. So instead, you sell covered calls and it offsets the loss that you're getting on the shares. So even though you're getting the pullback on your shares, you're going to make money on the covered calls. So now in the future, again, long-term hold, if it decides to go to $38 or go to $40, you made money on the covered calls, and now your shares that you're still holding are now worth even more. So you're making money on all the pullbacks while still holding your shares for the long point. That is the goal of covered calls. This is something that I do a lot of. I do it with Rivian all the freaking time. I love trading covered calls on Rivian. Every time Rivian drops underneath my cost basis, which is $12.48, I sell cash secured puts all the time. $10, $11 strikes. Every single fucking time it goes underneath my cost basis, which is usually right around this area here. That's around my cost basis on Rivian. So this is since July of 2025. And I went heavy in Rivian over the summer in August. So every time it comes back down here, bounces back up, whatever, it comes back down to my cost basis, I just sell cash secured puts, which is the opposite of a covered call essentially. And if it drops underneath, you know, um, $11, whatever it is, then I get assigned those shares, which I'm perfectly fine because I'd rather own more shares of Rivian. I get it at a cheaper price. If it doesn't go down to $11, then I collect all of that money from the cash secured puts while still holding my stock shares. And if it goes to the upside, I make money on my shares and the cash secured puts expire and I make money on that. And then I just do that over and over again. And then every time Rivian hits a big area of resistance, when it pulls back down, I sell covered calls. I just sold $22 covered calls on Rivian when it came up here to 23, almost to 23. It went to what, 22.70, and then double top and started to move back down right here. I sold $22 calls, and then those went 100%. Also, I did sell some equity on Rivian as well. Again, I was in from like 12 bucks. I had a lot of Rivian. I think it's still my largest holding overall, but I did sell some up here on this huge explosive move. And then when it started to pull back a little bit here, I then sold covered calls and then made even more money on that as the stock came back down to offset that. So, long story short, as I just went on this whole educational rant about covered calls and cash secured puts, I'm going to be doing more of that throughout the entire year. I'm going to be looking for new names to invest in, to buy in. Um, I still own some SoFi, probably going to do some things over there as well, but more education videos on things like that for what I do for investing in my long-term accounts, but then also doing things like cash secured puts and covered calls on that on the back burner while I'm actively day trading and swing trading options within the market. Kind of getting my hand in all the different ways in which you can make money in the stock market. I don't think there's one specific way you can just keep trading and make money in the stock market, because you have to keep on evolving and adapting to the stock market. Sometimes the market is not great for swing trading in which the way it's acting. So if it goes flat, you sell credit spreads, you sell iron condors, you make money that way. But then also, if you're going to be owning shares and equity of stocks, knowing how to sell cash secured puts and covered calls to make money throughout that process as well. So if you guys don't know too much about all of those things, make sure you do go over to the YouTube channel and like and subscribe to that. I'm going to be doing a lot more educational videos over that and going to be doing a lot more of those strategies within the premium Discord this year. I'm cutting back on a lot of my swing trading. I'm going to be doing a little bit more day trading, credit spreads, and then looking for more investment opportunities as well in the market. Um, if we do see a pullback in the market, or if we start to see some rotation, we see some names that have already been beaten down while the market has been running up, for all of 2025, you might start seeing tech pull back, and then you see rotation. You see these other names have been getting their, dick pushed in for the last year, and those names start to curl back up, taking that as an opportunity, taking advantage of it, any way you can, to make money in the market. So someone said, "Where's the live stream?" Buddy, you are late. I'm closing this thing up. It's a fucking wrap, dude. You can't come in. We've been running this for just exactly 1 hour. Right now, it just hit. You're a little late, but lucky for you, it is recorded. So, everyone that's on the X side, like and repost it for this guy over here who missed this entire session and is coming in within the last 5 minutes. Um, that way he can send it to him and his buddies and they can watch the recording later on. So, all right, guys, I'm headed out. I love selling option for premium. Heck yeah. Oh, is that for the Vanquish platform? No, I do all my stuff on my broker on Webull. Um, Always love hearing your why to see what you're seeing when you take a trade. Appreciate you, Michelle. Yeah, absolutely. Shorting Pepsi tomorrow, expiration February 13th. Not a bad, again, not a bad idea. I'm watching Pepsi 135 puts for February 20th. Um, just me personally. I'll just give you guys a little inside scoop. I already gave you one for SoundHound, $11 and $12 calls for February 20th. IREN, I'm looking at $45 and $50 calls for the next month or two. OKLO, again, looking at that for upside. And then Pepsi, 135 plus February 20th. Have not entered into any of those positions. Those are ones I'm looking to enter into it if these setups continue to stay valid and they show the opportunity is there for them. They provide good risk reward and they continue to play out in which the chart that I charted on it for whether it's bullish or bearish continues to move in that direction. So it's all speculation until we see how the market moves this week and we see how the price action starts to go. We'll love to see a lot of these things that I did homework on continue to play out in the way that I'm looking for them to. Obviously, make money where I can in the market. But that's it for me, guys. Appreciate everyone who tuned in to the live stream. Make sure you do like and subscribe YouTube, like and repost on X. If you want to come hang out with myself, I have another group of amazing traders in my Discord. It's not only myself alerting my trades, I have other day trade, swing trade, futures trading, the whole nine yards, my long-term account, everything is in there. We do absolutely every kind of style of trading almost in my Discord. I have an amazing team over there. We have 9,227 members within the Casey Trades Discord. So you want to come hang out, be a part of the Casey Trades trading community, you can click the link that should be up there on your screen right there. It's also in my bio on YouTube. It's on X. I have a whole website that's up there as well, my WAP store. You can find me on any social media. You'll find out where it's at. But um, come hang out. I still have a few of the discount codes out there. Let me see, what is it? It was the New Year's one that I sent out the other day. Use code HNY for Happy New Year 50. HNY 50. It will take 50% off absolutely anything and everything within my store for a one-time discount. So you can get a 7-day free trial. Just come hang out and see if it's the place for you. If it is, it is. If it's not, it's not. But I highly encourage everybody to get involved into a good trading community. I say it all the time. You hang out with 9 amazing traders, you will be the 10th. So find an amazing trading community that you connect with, and hopefully it is my community. If it's not, make sure you do go find one. It's just my opinion. So get yourself a 7-day free trial in my store. Come hang out, see if the Trading Premium Discord with Casey Trade Stream is the place for you. And then use code HNY50 at checkout, because if you do decide to stay after your free trial, it'll take 50% off your purchase. So then you're good to go. So that's it for me. For the people in the premium Discord that are watching this live stream, I will see you guys over on the premium Discord for the live streaming and live trading session tomorrow. I will be a guest speaker on the Wolf Trading X Spaces and also on the YouTube channel, probably in the back half of the session of the day, just hanging out over there. But I will obviously be live streaming and live trading just like this with my premium Discord community every single day, like I normally do. So love and appreciate you all. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Let's have a great fucking week of trading, our first week of 2026, guys. Let's end the week green. Let's not start off losing money with a red week. Stay disciplined, stay patient, follow your plan. Don't FOMO, don't do no bullshit. It's a new year. All right, new year, new me, right? That's the fucking saying that everyone says. So, if you have a working strategy, just continue to use it, but don't go crazy. Just stay patient, stay disciplined. Let's have a great first week of trading 2026, guys. All right. Love you all, and I'll